I'm back. So I mentioned when I did that first tier list video that I was gonna do a few of them before releasing the Rainbow High video. And if you can tell by the look of my channel, the Rainbow High video is up now. So I got that finished because the amount of time it took to do the editing for the Monster High tier list was just extortionate. And I was just like, no, I need to finish the Rainbow High video before doing any more of these. Because I was originally going to do like a couple of tier lists before doing the Rainbow High video. So now that I've recovered from all of the editing trauma of both the Monster High tier list and the Rainbow High video essay thing, I am back for another tier list. And today I am ranking classic Bratz lines from 2001 to, I believe there are some from 2009 in here. There's nothing like 2010 onwards. This is kind of a bit of a weird tier list because they have some missing ones, like Rock Angels isn't on this, Girls Really Rock isn't on. Yeah, like Magic Hair Grow and Cut is on, which is 2009, so it's a little inconsistent, but I'm gonna work with what I've got here. What I might do is, after I've put these all in categories, I might do like what I would put other lines that aren't here. I might do that if I have time. I'm gonna watch my time because the amount of recording time for the Monster High tier list was pretty wild. But luckily there are less things to rank on this one than there were on the Monster High one. So that is good. That is really reassuring. You'll be happy to know I'm also dressed for the occasion. Bratz Project Closet merch. You can get this tee on my Redbubble. Someone has to. And it can't just be me. I can't just be the one sad person wearing my own merch. Alright, so I feel like I should probably go over... Last time I went over biases for like the Monster High characters. But for this one, I just feel like I like what I like. I don't feel like there's anything I'm like necessarily, I'm drawn to like this type of line or this type of line. Maybe a little bit of nostalgia is gonna factor into things, but I'm gonna try and not be so nostalgia driven. So hopefully this is all gonna go well. You'll also have noticed I've done a little bit of improving with the setup. You can no longer see my bookmarks or the taskbar. I figured out you can actually put this into a presentation mode on TierMaker, which I didn't even know existed. I didn't know what I was doing on that first video. Also, last thing, sorry I don't want to make this too long. Thank you to everyone who's watched the first two of my videos, or either one of those two videos, the Monster High tier list or the Rainbow High video. I really appreciate it. I was so excited to make those videos, and I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope you enjoy this one. So let's introduce our tiers. First one is Platinum, Burger Heels approved. And these lines are all the best of the best, in my opinion. Like, my favourite, top favourites. They are on the same level to me as Rhea's iconic cheeseburger shoe, because that is an art piece. Next here is Gold, and it just says love them to bits. These are the ones where they're not my favourites, but I still love them. And I would still, like, heavily side-eye someone who said that they didn't like them or they thought that they were terrible. Next one is Silver. These are the ones that I think they're nice. I don't have like a massive attachment towards, but I think they're nice. And then we have the Participation Award, which is you aren't like that good, but there's something significant that I appreciate about you, or there's like a factor that stops you from being like meh. So you get Participation Award. That's not too bad. We then have Crickets, which I don't really have anything to say on. If I put a product in this one, it's just crickets. And then the last one, this one's gonna need a little bit of explaining. Black Peep Toe ankle boot mold from 2010. This shoe mold is the bane of my existence. They use this on a ton of like 2010, 2011 Bratz, and it's just like an ugly shoe mold, and they used it all the time, and I don't know why.
You're ugly, you're disgusting, I'm gonna kill you, give me $200.
If I put a line in this tier, it's not looking good for her. I don't have positive feelings. I don't think there are that many that are gonna go on here, because it was the same with the last tier list, where it was like only one went into the bottom category. It's like, there aren't enough of these lines that I hate. If there was like the holiday 2007 line on here, that would be going in there. This is a strong lineup of dolls, but we will see if anyone makes it into this tier. So let's go. Let's start with first edition. This is a classic line, but I'm going to try and detach it from the nostalgia and just focus on the dolls' outfits and the faces and hair and stuff. This is a gold line for me. I think that this was an excellent start to Bratz and an excellent way to establish Bratz. This is the first impression, and it's a very, very strong first impression. I really like a lot of the style choices, things that you wouldn't necessarily see a lot on a doll. Jade's like double sleeves, the kind of skirt combo on Sasha where it's like a maxi skirt, but then it's the skirt also on top. There are a lot of things that really stand out as unique, and it's like they didn't have a formula, and that's something I really admire about them. They have very strong colour palettes. The faces are nice, they're nice, classic. They're a great starting point for Bratz. It's not like a top favourite for me. Part of that is because some of the second outfits in these are very underwhelming to me. Jade's second outfit, Sasha's second outfit, kind of just, they're fine. Not really that cute, if I'm completely honest. Chloe's other pieces, the second outfit, it's more like a half outfit because it's a jacket and a skirt with no like extra top. I like those pieces, and I especially like the cow print skirt, but it's kind of just half an outfit. The one second outfit I love is Yasmin's. I think that's just a gorgeous second outfit, and I think it's the only one that really holds up on its own. So overall, very strong line, really like these, just that one flaw of maybe the second outfit's not being the best. So the next line we're going with is Flaunt It. This one's going to be a silver. This wave was kind of a step down from the first edition. It feels a little bit more formulaic with kind of a lot of jeans. If early Bratz has one flaw, it's that maybe they put out too many dolls in just like jeans. Yasmin's kind of a bit of a boring one. I used to like Flaunt It Yasmin a lot more, but I kind of just find her a little bit boring nowadays. Chloe's it's fine. I kind of like the pastel colour palette. Jade and Sasha I really like in this line. I really like Sasha's colour palette. I think it's a really strong colour palette for Sasha. I like the silver turquoise on Jade, and I like her top. Both of her tops I think are cute. The one with like the lightning print, and then the one with the flag. Again, I like them a lot, but I don't think they match up to first edition. But I don't think they're bad. It's a fine second outing. I'm gonna put Star Singers in Participation Award. I don't care for these outfits at all. I think the outfits are repetitive and not that nice. I don't like the fact that they're all in the black and pink. This isn't me like saying like anti-pink propaganda, by the way. This is me thinking, for all the times that Bratz has put like dolls in outfits but like the same one in a different colour, the one time they could have done it was this, and they didn't, and I think they should have done that. But I like the fact that they tried a new body with this, and I like the fact that it's got the leg articulation. It's a gimmick line, but I do like that it has that extra element of the different body. That is what I will give it. It is a participation award. I think I'm gonna put the movie in like. I really like these dolls. I like that they did an articulated body. I don't care for the movie arms. The upper arm is too long. The proportions are off. I don't like what they did with the proportions. I think they should have fine-tuned them a bit. But I love the faces. I think Yasmin is beautiful. I think that Jade is stunning, Sasha is stunning, Chloe is really nice too. The Sheridan, gorgeous. And I like the idea of them having like these red carpet dresses. Again, it's the cookie cutter, they just changed the colour. And like the one might be a halter, one might be like a one shoulder. It's very that kind of line. I don't like the fact that the sequins shed so much. I have the Yasmin from this line, and the sequins do shed quite a lot. I like it more than I consider it a participation award. We'll leave it at that. I think I might start on some of the twins. Let's get the original twins. Phoebe and Roxy, I'm gonna put in Love Them. I don't think that this is the best twin set, but I think it's a very strong start for the twins. I like that they each have like a different style of jeans with different print. Like Roxy has a bit more of a anarchic print or like embroidery, whereas Phoebe's is more kind of gentle and sweet. I like that they come with the different jackets. The t-shirts, I'm like, they're okay, they're fine. I don't care for the tops that much, but I like the jackets. I like the bottoms. They did like a good twin, evil twin. It was good the first time. I feel like they milked it far too much later on. But I love Roxy's micro braids. I love what they did with Phoebe's bangs, I think is really cute. They could have done more Phoebes with bangs, I think. It's nice, but I don't think it's as good as Nona and Tess, because I think that Nona and Tess are platinum. This is the best twin set that Bratz has ever done. I'm gonna lay that on the table. What makes this set so special is that it's like, you have a very similar feeling to the Phoebe and Roxy, where it's like one's more of a sweet and one's more of a rebellious, but it feels more nuanced, and it also feels like they've put in more individual details. They didn't make them have as much in common other than like maybe the colours, and I think that really works for them, because you have like the sweeter elements of Nona's outfit, like the cami and the stitched jeans, and then you have the edgier parts of Tess's, like the kind of graffiti top and the leather jacket and the buckled stitched pants. I think that they just really took what worked with that first set of twins, kind of took out some of the stuff that wasn't really as good, and it shows. The improvement from that first set to the second set really, really shows, and that's why I think Nona and Tess are the best set of twins. So they are going in platinum. They are the first platinum inductee. So let's go with the Passion for Fashion Wave 1. I'm gonna put this in Participation Award. I think it's a solid wave. I don't think it's like anything exceptional, but the faces are solid, the outfits are pretty decent. It does start that kind of template where it comes with the flowy top and the jeans, which they did for those Passion for Fashion lines a lot. But I think it's a decent entry. It's nothing I'm passionate about, but it's nothing I dislike. Passion for Fashion Wave 2, however, is going in love. I think that the Passion for Fashion Wave 2 is the best of the waves, like the 3 waves that had just the main characters in. You can see they really tried to experiment more with these ones and make them a little more unique. Like Jade's makeup, the colour choice on Sasha I really love. Sasha in yellow, underrated choice. The coral on Chloe and the tan on Chloe. I think that this is a very strong kind of standard wave, and probably one of the best like standard waves they did in the later era of classic Bratz. Number 3, I feel like I'm gonna put these in crickets. I don't like the outfits. I think the outfits are bad. The jeans with like the very cheap like metallic polka dots, like that's not really very fashionable. It's very Passion for Party City.
Go back to Party City where you belong.
And then like the tops they just look cheaper. The mini dresses just are cheaper. The only reason they're not going in the bottom tier is because I like the faces, and I like the blue eyeshadow on Sasha. I think that was a good choice. Other than that, it's crickets. It's absolute crickets. Let's get Beach Party on here. I'm gonna put Beach Party in their nice silver. I think that this was a really confusing wave because they re-released these a bunch of times. They did like one release where it was 2 casual outfits, one release where it was a casual outfit in a bikini, and then a release that was 2 bikinis. And then these would like, they would have like different shoes included. Some of them would have 2 of the big chunky sneakers. Some would have flip-flops and then chunky sneakers. And then some would have flip-flops and flat sneakers. It was like, they really milked this line a lot. And I mean, I think it's a nice line. I don't think it's the best that we'll see of a Bratz swimwear line, but I like that it has like the casual. There's this one Moxie Girls line that's like summer swim, where it's like, it's beachwear, but it's like what you'd wear like walking on the beach. And that's kind of a similar thing to what these like beach party outfits were. And I like that they did that, and I think that they didn't really touch that very much. They did like a little bit with Sunkissed Summer, and then they did with the Backyard Beach Bash in 2016. But I like that they did something that wasn't necessarily swimwear, but then they also did swimwear. And, you know, the bikinis are simple, they're cute. They're very of their time. Overall, I just think they're a nice line. Nothing incredible, but nothing bad. Right, shall we do a big one? Let's do Girls' Night Out. This is one of my favourites, if not my favourite, Bratz line. It encapsulates so much of what makes Bratz special. Interesting mix and match pieces. Not all of the pieces individually are the best, but the fact that you get so much and you can do so much with them, I think that really ties into like something that I personally love a lot about Bratz, which is that mix and match aspect. The faces are excellent on these. The lashes, I don't think they ever did the lashes as good on future dolls as they did on these. The hair is really nice, sometimes a little too intricate for its own good. Like the Dana hair is a lot, but I really admire the intent. I don't love the body shimmer that much, but I love everything else pretty much. The faces, the accessories, the outfits, the mini dresses are really cute. You have some great colour choices, like the black on Dana is really unique, the turquoise on Jade, the powder blue on Chloe, the kind of corally pink on Sasha. I feel like they used like a coral pink on Sasha quite often, and I think part of it was that it worked so well in this line. Yasmin's probably like the least favourite, but she's still a really solid Yasmin. Overall, I just think that this line, this is Bratz at its finest. I feel like this is the fulcrum point of where Bratz stopped being what it was before and started being what it would be as a phenomenon. And I think the road from Girls' Night Out to Rock Angels was this stretch. This was the era where it was like, we are building up from what we were beforehand to the global phenomenon Bratz. So that's what I've got to give to Girls' Night Out. Excellence. I'm gonna put Passion for Fashion Wave 4 here. These new characters are really great. They introduced some of the most unique new characters to Bratz in this line. You could say the same about the 2009, the Sabina and Dresden, which aren't on here, but the fact we get a very distinctly nerdy character, we get a new doll of colour, finally, with a distinctly sporty flair, and then we get a girl that has all of this kawaii style aesthetic and is just so committed to that. I think that this was the point where Bratz were making new characters and they meant something in a way. Like, it was like, they only got one release, but they made sure that they stood out for that release. Which I cannot say the same about for the 2010s. Chloe and Yasmin are great here too. Chloe's nice, Yasmin, excellent. The pale pink Yasmin era.
That was fighting for gay rights, and people were killed.
Yasmin stepped out in that pale pink every freaking line, and you know what? I ate it up every single time. And what are you gonna do? Overall, very strong. I just think that the consistency and the boldness of the Passion for Fashion Wave 2 ranks a little bit above, but still an excellent wave. Passion for Fashion World Tour, get in the bottom tier where you belong. I don't like these faces. I don't like the outfits. I don't like the weird shoe mold, and I don't like the fact that they used the Treasures skirt that like ratty and doesn't look very good. I get that this was a limited release and this was probably more of like a budget thing, like they couldn't really do that much with it, but this line isn't very good. So Passion for Fashion World Tour goes in the bottom. Alright, Funk and Glow I'm gonna cover next. The thing is that Funk and Glow Wave 1 and Funk and Glow Wave 2, they have the same outfit pieces mostly. Wave 1 has Megan, Wave 2 has Dana. So I have another source here. This is passionforbratz.com, where I'm gonna compare these and have a look. So this is Wave 1. These are definitely more alike to the earlier screenings, but I like the outfit combinations. I like Megan in the coat. I like the kind of green on Yasmin. I love this on Jade. And then this is Wave 2. I think that the outfits aren't as good on, I don't know, I like some of these outfits. And I like Dana a lot. And then compared to Megan, I also like Wave 2 screenings are more unique. Oh my gosh. This is very hard to decide. These waves are very close to each other because they have the same outfits, they're just distributed differently. And I think Wave 2 had some new pieces. This is really great on Sasha. I really like both of them. I think they're both great. So I'll put them at the top of like. I think Wave 2 slightly outranks. I will give it to Wave 2 on the basis that I think the screenings have more unique makeup choices, but it is very close. To be fair, I don't think that this is even like one of Bratz's best lines, but I just think that, you know, the two are so close together that I think it doesn't really make that great deal of difference. Live in concert is a love. I think I'm gonna put it here. I think that this is such a strong line because they took so many creative liberties with it, that they had such a specific style, this kind of cyber space pop star look. They had some bold makeup choices. The fact that they went so far with some of the makeup with like the lipstick, I think is a great sign of like the dedication that went into preserving that aesthetic. Really strong colorways, really strong like hair. I love the packaging on these. Which one of these is probably my favorite? I think Jade is a really underrated one. So cool in this line. Chloe's hair is great. I love the pop of orange on Sasha. I love Dana. I actually have Dana in box, but I'd like to get one out of box. Never is nice. Maybe a tiny bit overrated. I get why people love her so much. She's a little bit overrated in this line. And then Yasmin, she's nice too. I think that this is a very strong line. They were committed to an aesthetic and they didn't compromise with it, and that's why this worked so well. That is the thesis statement of my live in concert ranking. This sleepover line can go in participation award because I like these colours that they chose, but obviously they are like copy and paste outfits with the colours switched around. And at the end of the day, that's never really going to impress me that much. Unless your name is Pattern for Fashion Wave 2, then it absolutely will. I feel like the highlights of this line are definitely Leia and Sasha, but Chloe and Yasmin are nice too. I like that they kept Chloe with her blue because I'm very pro blue Chloe. I'm not that anti-pink Chloe, but like, she works better in blue. And then, like, Yasmin works quite nice in pink. So I like that they went with the pink with Yasmin. And I like the powdery, like, lilac they went with Leia. Sasha in yellow. I'm always going to love Sasha in yellow. Sasha in gold. They do Sasha in gold too much. Sasha in yellow I think is cool. That is a enthusiastic participation award. Class UK I'm gonna put at the top of like. I feel like this line wouldn't be as hyped if it wasn't so rare. This is a very strong, solid line. I don't know if I'm that passionate about it though. I feel like I'm just so jaded by its rarity. I like it a lot, so I'm gonna put it in this category. I really like the yellow top on Sasha. I like what they did with Kumi. I like that Kumi's in this line. Chloe and Yasmin I'm not that into. Kumi and Sasha I really love. And is that other one, is that Katya? I think that's Katya. She's decent too. I like them, but I really have more of an enthusiasm for Kumi and Sasha than I do for anyone else in this line. And also the rarity just makes me incredibly jaded. So it's going in there. So let's get Back to School in here as well. I feel like Back to School is gonna go right next to Class UK. I think I actually do like Class UK better than I like Back to School. Back to School was also named Class in some territories, but I'll just differentiate them like that. I like that they went with different faces for these dolls, but I also think that not every choice that they did with these worked that well. Like, Phoebe's screening is nice, but it almost feels like it's been half applied. I don't know if I'm making any sense with that, but do you know when you get those like misprints of dolls where they forget to put on like the lashes or they forget to put on like the eyeliner? It feels like that with her screening. The outfits, they're decent. I like Yasmin's outfit. I like the top on Chloe. I like the colour scheme with Phoebe. I feel like some of the pieces could have used a little bit more finessing. Love the hair. It's more that there were certain aspects of this line that could have been improved. But it's still a like, it's still a gold. No, it's not a gold, it's a silver. It's because this category is like a yellow colour. I should have changed them beforehand. Right, Fashion Pixies, this is another participation award. I'm gonna put it here. If this was the prototypes, they would go in love, but it's not the prototypes. It's the final releases. And I don't really care that much about like the new bodies and the new faces on these. I know I said what I said with Star Singers, that I like that they did the new bodies on there. I'm a man of many opinions. Not all of them are consistent. I don't really care for like the plasticky wings, copy and paste outfits. I think they're cute, and that's why they're going in participation award, because I think that the aesthetic of this line is cute. Undeniably, like a nice aesthetic, but it's missing the looks from the film, and two, it doesn't really feel that much like Bratz. This is almost like more like my scene adjacent in terms of like the proportions. I want to like Fashion Pixies more than I do, but I think the movie sets such a good standard in the outfits that is not even close to met by the dolls. So a participation award is where you go. Let's do Welcome to Fabulous next. This is an excellent line, and I'm gonna put it there. I think it's a really underrated line because it gets overshadowed by all of the massive hitters from 2005. 2005 was a juggernaut year for Bratz. This is where you get like a lot of the classic lines. Live in Concert, Wild Wild West, Rock Angels, obviously, Treasures, Pretty and Punk. So many classics came out that year that Welcome to Fabulous gets lost in the shuffle. Obviously this line has Tiana. She looks fabulous. She looks great with the red streaks. She looks great with a red outfit. But can we talk about Yasmin a minute? I love this colour combo on Yasmin. The purple with the pink and like the purple fur works really well. I like her face and her hair on this. Sasha looks gorgeous. Chloe looks gorgeous. This is such a consistent line and a gorgeous line. I think it doesn't get as much praise as it deserves, and I feel like that is partially because there are so many good lines from that year. So I'm gonna give it its flowers right now. Welcome to Fabulous is an excellent line. Do you know what? No, I'm putting it ahead of Live in Concert. Sue me. Campfire. I feel like Campfire gets a lot of people saying that this line is overrated and like overhyped. I disagree. I think it's worth the hype. Obviously, Felicia is very in demand. There's a dispute to whether she's actually rare or if it's just that people want her so much that the prices get drived up. But I just think that these dolls are worth the hype. I think that the outfits are exceptionally like put together. Not all of the decisions make sense. I think Phoebe and Dana have bare legs in this line, even though they're camping. But I love the colour combos. Chloe's colour combos are really nice. Yasmin's are. I feel like the strongest ones in this line are Chloe, Yasmin, and Felicia. And also, this is the superior Felicia. I'm sorry, Sweet Dreams Pajama Party stands. This is the better Felicia, in my opinion. Something about like the eyes and the eyebrows. I prefer the face on her. And I also prefer the outfit. I love the scarf and the hat. I think her colour scheme is really strong. I think they reused her outfit for the Megan in the playset. No surprise there because the outfit slaps. The reason that Campfire Felicia is such a gorgeous doll isn't just because it's Felicia, it's because the outfit is exceptionally put together in my opinion. But also like shout out to Chloe and Yasmin. Also excellent, and this is one of my favourite lines because I think it just embodies like the fun of Bratz, but also it takes itself seriously as well in the fashions, but then you have like the bare legs moments that are kind of funny. Right, let's discuss Sweet Dreams Pajama Party while we're at it. I'm gonna put this in, yeah, let's put it in silver, they're nice. So Kumi is one of my favourites from this line, and also Sienna. They are both gorgeous, and obviously everyone hypes Felicia. Felicia looks great in this line, but I think that she's at least third place compared to Kumi and Sienna. Kumi's face is really nice. I love the turquoise on her. I love Sienna in this line. The hair works well. The outfit with the yellow and the white works really well for me. Chloe has a gorgeous screening in this line, and I think Yasmin's pretty cute too. Like, it's a very consistent... Honestly, do you know what? No, I'm not going to put it in. I'm going to put it up here. It deserves gold. I think this is the gold line, and I think that part of me just wants to put it in silver because of, like, the hype. But, like, no, it's that good. It's worth that position. If I see any of these out in the wild, I would want to get them. But that's pretty much impossible. So they will just remain in gold tier. Let's do Step Out. Let's put them in crickets. I'm sorry, I don't really care for Step Out that much as a line. Megan is nice, but she has Wildlife Safari Megan's face, which made me realise that the reason I liked her was because I liked Wildlife Safari Megan's face. And that's it. Jade's face, some days I like it, some days I hate it. Yasmin's is quite cute. Chloe's is fine. Sasha's is Flashback Fever Sasha, which is cute. But overall, I just feel like this line doesn't really give me much to think about. The outfits feel very formulaic. The jeans, there's an abundance of jeans here that are just plain jeans, and it doesn't do anything for me. Some of these tops are kind of ugly. Like, I don't really vibe that much with Step Out, if I'm completely honest. Step Out will have to go in crickets. Speaking of Wildlife Safari, I'm gonna put this in here. I'll put this in love because I think that this is another underrated line from 2004. This was 2004, another very solid, strong year for Bratz lines, but I think this was a very solid line. I really like the addition of Fiona, Never, and Megan into this line, especially what they did with Nevra and what they did with Megan's face. Megan's outfit is fine, it's whatever. Chloe and Yasmin got added later on in the line, and their faces are really cute too. Very unique in terms of Chloe's and Yasmin's. I didn't really vibe with this line that much, but it has grown on me exponentially over the past 2 years. So Wildlife Safari gets love. Talking Bratz. These outfits, these screenings, I can't even express how perfect these outfits and screenings are. These are just excellent dolls, and I think that they were hampered a little bit by the fact that they're like talking dolls, but not enough for me not to put them at the top. I'm putting them in platinum. These are Cheeseburger Heels approved because I just think they're excellent. We have classic colour combos, the gold with Sasha. I love her hair in this line. I love the pop of blue with Chloe. I love her screening. It's very fierce. I love the sweetness of Yasmin's screening. I love the pop of pink, but like the green gold is such a cool element. Jade looks stunning too. Excellent screening. I like that it feels like these dolls have a formula in a way. It's like a jacket, a top, and skirt or jeans. But it doesn't feel that formulaic. It feels like they really tapped into each character and what makes that character individual. I think it's some of Bratz's best designs. Top of the top of the top. Pretty and Punk. I'm gonna put Pretty and Punk. They're almost going in platinum, but they just miss. And one of the big reasons is that they all come with the same pair of shoes, and it's not even a good pair of shoes. The pair of shoes is just kind of weird.
Trash!
And the prototypes look like they came with their own shoes, and one of them had like the Union Jack on the toe, and it looked really cool, and I'm sad we never got that, and I'm sad that they all have the same shoes, because it pisses me off so much. But the designs on these are really cool. I love the hair streaks. I love Yasmin's screening. I love Chloe's screening. I like how far they went with the punk elements of these. I don't love the fact that they whitewashed Yasmin. I don't love the fact we didn't get a Sasha. Other reasons why they're not in the top category. But this is such a strong, such a Bratz line. I love that they went with like the UK theme, but they went with the punk theme of it instead of just being kind of stereotypical about it. Pretty and Punk is just, it's a classic for a reason, and I love it a lot, so it's going in Love It. I'm gonna put Head Games in Participation Award. I'm also gonna put Design Your Own in Participation Award. The mechanism of the head switching I like. Other than that, like the outfits just, they're reused outfits. I like the different heads, but that's kind of it. So that's why they're going in Participation Award. And I also prefer the idea of you can change this from one character to another character. I prefer that to you can make this character look like this or make the character look like this. But they're both together, so the margin, it doesn't really matter that much. Right, Ooh La La is going at the back of silver. I'm kind of mixed on these because I love Kumi, I love Chloe. This Dana is probably the worst Dana. I'm sorry. I feel like that's really controversial. I just don't like this Dana. I don't think she looks good with the screening. I don't care for this outfit. It just doesn't work for me. And I love Dana. She's one of my top favourite characters, but not in this line. I like Chloe and I like Kumi. I don't love the painted on like gloves and leggings. The second outfits aren't very good, but the first outfits for Chloe and Kumi and their faces, they're great. So this is going in the back of they're nice. Eye Candy I'm actually going to put in Participation Award. The thing is, I used to love this line when I was little, but I think it was just because of the commercial and the colour schemes. If I'm completely honest, these outfit pieces aren't actually that nice. They're okay, but like the painted on leggings are fine. I like the shoes with like the clear elements. The screenings aren't that nice. The hair is nice on Chloe and it's okay on Yasmin. I don't care for it on Phoebe. It's just like I feel like I would get one of these in box because it's in the box and it's got like the colour scheme and it looks gorgeous, but I don't really care for these out of the box that much, and I feel like I see them all the time on eBay. Maybe an indication that they were either very common or people aren't interested. I'm gonna actually do another line that's very common on eBay, but I'm putting it in a very different position. Funk Out. I feel like this is probably my favourite basic line. Like I really love Funk Out. Is part of this maybe based on the fact that they're the outfits used in the TV series? Maybe. But I just think that these outfits work so well. You have the floral pops on Yasmin, the pastel touches on Chloe. I love the camo on Sasha. Gorgeous touch. Jade is just quintessential Jade. The hair is great. The outfit pieces are great. Such a intriguing mix of pieces. Red on Dana. We do not discuss Funk Out Dana enough. We don't give her the credit she deserves. Love her face. Cool hair as well. Fiona and Nevra, the dolls are quite nice. Obviously these are like reused pieces, but I feel like they just fit really well, especially Fiona's outfit. Her first outfit, you would think it was designed for her. And out of the Fiona dolls that use this like screening, this is the best one. Better than the Salon and Spa Fiona, better than the Sunker Summer Fiona. And I also think this is a really nice Nevra too, and I like her first outfit. Her second outfit is a bit weak, but the first one is very nice. Overall, this is just like a really great, like, the last hurrah of the vintage Bratz. By that I mean like the 2001, 2004, like when they were still doing that specific artwork style and like the specific naming schemes. It's like the last hurrah before they move on to the up and up with Girls' Night Out, before that fulcrum point and before that point of evolution, which I hope I'm explaining properly. I just have such a love for Funk Out. I do wish they'd have done a Megan though. That would have been nice to have all 8 of the main girlies together. Would have been very nice. Right, play sports, I'm gonna put here. Here's the thing. I don't think play sports should have been just one tile on this. I think it should have been each wave of play sports. Or at least each year. Because you have the first wave of play sports. Excellent. The second year was split into 2 halves. You have like the first 2 I really love and then the second 3, whatever. 2007, one of the waves was excellent, which I think is this wave that's pictured, and then one of them wasn't that good. 2008 was, they did the extreme line, I think, and then play sports is a lot to handle. So I'm just going to put it here because I think overall it's a great line, but there are some that are exceptional dolls, and there are also a lot of filler in play sports in terms of the dolls, so that's what they get. You get like, let's get Wintertime Wonderland and let's put it in its rightful place of here. Wintertime Wonderland is the blueprint for winter lines. Any single doll company who is releasing a winter line has this to live up to. They are living up to the standards set by Wintertime Wonderland. You have the consistency with the leg warmers and like the hats, but you also have a lot of great individual elements. You have great colour schemes. Sasha has a great colour scheme. Lime and turquoise was an excellent choice for her. Dana looks pretty nice, but I think that Chloe really outsells her. I think the colour story is really great with Chloe. Yasmin looks great too. Jade is pretty great as well. I think that this is just a very solid, consistent line. None of them are bad. A great metric for this tier is that none of them are bad. The fact that this line is so good shows because they reused the outfits a bunch of times, like in the Winter Girls line and with a second wave of this as well, which had like the outfits switched. So Wintertime Wonderland goes here because it's just the blueprint for winter lines, and I don't think it's ever been topped. Very close competitor is Moxie Girls Magic Snow or My Scene Chillin' Out, both great lines as well. I feel like I should probably cover some of these twins now. Let's get Krista and Layla, and I'm gonna put these here in I like, because they look good and I like them, but also they are very formulaic because they both have similar jeans, they both have similar jackets and similar t-shirts, and it does feel like these were the most copy-paste out of the twins, which I think kind of sucks because they deserved more unique looks to actually, you know, define them as different characters. Like, they both look great, but I feel like they could have done more with them. Oriana, Valentina, let's put them in between the 2 class lines because I think this is a good set of twins. Not as good as Nona and Tess. I don't think as good as Phoebe and Roxy either, but I think it's another very strong wave. I don't love Valentina's outfit pieces, but I like the essence of Valentina. I think she just gives off this very specific aesthetic, which I like. And then Oriana looks great. I love her top, I love her hair. The pants are a little cheap looking, but I can kind of pass that up. I think this was another quite strong twins line. It does have like the distinction between the 2. You can tell one of them's like the rocker. She's a bit more of a rebel, a soulful punk skunk. And then Valentina's more dressy and like a pretty pup, which coincidentally I used their nicknames because it helps as a very good descriptor. Peyton and Neve, I think, are on a similar level. I'll put them here. I like both the ones that got released with the black hair and the prototype ones. I think those both look great. My headcanon is that these are like the mean twins almost, because I think they just look kind of mean in like a fierce way rather than a uncomfortable way. But they kind of did do the same take as with Phoebe and Roxy, the sweet one and the spicy one. But I like that the outfits are so drastically different in terms of the colour. The form is very similar. They're both wearing like a mini dress, but it's got like a puffed out skirt with some kind of fishnet leg and arm warmers, yet it feels like they are different enough in the colour schemes to be distinctive on their own and show their personalities, so I like that about them. They're a solid like. I feel like this might be a controversial one, but the Wicked twins, I feel like they're just fine to me. I like them, but that's it. Which is unfortunate because I feel like I'd like them more if they didn't have this, like, again, it's the kind of where I'm jaded by how rare they are. Also, the outfits do look very, like, recolored in terms of, like, it's like a pink version and a green version, which I like the colors a lot, but I don't have that connection to them. And I think that just stops me from liking them as much as some of the other twins. I also don't care for the screening. It's kind of like the Treasures Roxy screening or Rock Angels Roxy screening. That's never been my favourite screening, so obviously it doesn't really resonate with me that much. Feeling Pretty. I really like this line. I'm gonna put it in the back of love because I think that not everything they did with this line worked, but I like that they committed to, like, the 98 screenings. I like that they went with different pieces in terms of, like, the tops and bottoms and not just having jeans like they did with Step Out. I love Chloe in this line. Jade looks really cool. I like her colour scheme. Yasmin's very strong. Sasha's very strong. Dana's okay. I like the Dana in this, but not that much. I think that this is a really cool basic line. Well, not like basic line, but like a signature line that decided to do something very different rather than just kind of retreating back into what Bratz was kind of already putting out. Like, they went with something a little bit more out of the box with it, and I like that a lot. It really stands out as its own line, and that's why it's going in love, even if it is at the back. Right, Magic Hair Participation Award. I think they're okay. I like the hair colours, but I don't care for the outfits. The Raya doll is fine, but I feel like she's more hyped because she's a new character and less of what the doll actually has, which isn't very much. So you go in Participation Award. Magic Hair Colour goes in the back of Like, because I like the maxi dresses and I like the pleather look. Leia, I love the Leia in this line. The other two are fine. Actually, no, I need to put them in Participation Award. I only really like Leia that much. Magic Hair Grow and Cut. This is the one that can go in the back of Like. I think that these outfits are really cute. Actually, I'm ranking them above Wicked Twins. They still have a formula, but it feels like there's more detail that's gone into these outfits. And I like the yellowy green on Sasha. I'm always gonna love that. I really like the blue on Chloe. Again, blue on Chloe. Yasmin's probably the least out of this, but she's still a solid Yasmin. I think that at a certain point, I just get hot pink fatigue. Right, Princess. I feel like I'm gonna put Princess here. The only thing that's stopping them from getting in, like, the very, very top is that some of the t-shirts I kind of don't care for. Like, the crown t-shirts feel a little bit cheap. But overall, each doll is individually gorgeous. I love the pink and camo combo on Jade. I love the white on Fiona. Chloe's colour story is perfection to me, and I love her hair and screening and what they did with it. This has Roxy's best screening, and I also love this colour on her. Yasmin's took a while to grow on me, but I really like Princess Yasmin. I think she's got a really cool screening. I like this kind of plum colour on her, and I like that she gets bangs and darker hair. I think it was really cool. I just wish that there was a darker skinned character too. I would gladly have taken a Princess Sasha over the Wicked Twins, gladly, which might be the most controversial thing I've said all video. But overall, I really think that Princess is an excellent line. Tokyo A Go-Go. This is another one that's going in love. I think I narrowly prefer Pretty in Punk, or do I? I don't know. I think I'll put Tokyo Go-Go in front because they came with different shoes. The damn shoes are always going to be the shortcoming for Pretty and Punk. But this is such a strong committed line, and it has that same feeling that Live in Concert has, that they committed to the aesthetic so much by having unique screenings and very different fashions, and it pays off in dividends because it stands out so much. I feel like Yasmin's the one that's very underrated in this line. I love her hair and her screening is very cute. Fiona is really great too, but I feel like Yasmin is missing a lot of the hype that Fiona gets. Chloe looks really nice. Jade has a great screening, and I love her hair, and I love the bee sweater. Sasha looks really cute in this line as well. The playset Tiana is a bit overrated, but I think she is nice still. And I also love the boys. The boys are great in this line, and I do love what they did with the collector's dolls, having a full kimono. I feel like they should have done more research with the names, especially with Maylin. But overall, I think that this was one of Bratz's strongest lines, and though I feel like it doesn't end up crawling into that upper tier, it is the top of this tier. Dynamite is a high like. I think that this is one of those lines that kind of gets lost in the shuffle because it's a common line to see, but I love what they did with the makeup choices on Chloe. I love what they did with the dark green on Megan and kind of the indigo with Nevra. They're very dark colours, but you can see in other pictures that you can tell it's like a dark green and then the indigo. And I like the vibe of this this line with like the yellow boxes, the motorcycles, Never's thigh-high boots. It really thrives on that, and I feel like because they embrace that so much, it adds a mystique to the dolls. I don't think the dolls stand out enough to go in love, but I do really like them, and I just think that it's a very cool line that deserved more than 3 dolls. Where is the Dynamite Sasha? Where is the Dynamite Dana? Where is Dynamite Yasmin? Oh wait, I designed them on my Instagram at Oliver's Dolls. Follow now. Cool plug. But I really like Dynamite. Secret Date. I'm gonna put next to Pretty and Punk. These outfits were so nice, they used them twice because these outfits originally came from Girls' Night Out and were reused on the Secret Date dolls. And they really suit these dolls, which is weird because usually reused outfits stick out like a sore thumb for me, but these don't. These have their own identity and their own mystique. Megan, absolutely beautiful in this line. Yasmin, where is the Secret Date Yasmin love? We don't give her enough love and enough credit. Chloe has a great screening. Jade looks stunning. Nevra is really nice. It really shows how strong of a line this is. So I think Secret Date deserves that position wholeheartedly. Wanted, kind of a strange line. I don't really know what to think of this. We'll put it in like. I think it's a decent like. Some of the choices with these, it's like kind of a showgirl western cabaret look. I don't really understand it, but I think it's cute. Fiona and Yasmin definitely outsell Megan here. I like Fiona's face, and I like the red and the leopard. I also think this is a really unique Yasmin, but I don't really look at this line and see like a top line. I see, oh, it's a nice little line that was there and was, I think, a Woolworths exclusive. Rest in peace, Woolworths. Australians are going to be looking at this video like, what is he saying? Woolworths is still here. Different Woolworths. Flower Girls, I'm also going to put in I like. These could have easily gone in Participation Award, but I really like some of these dolls. I think Sasha is beautiful, Nora is beautiful, Chloe and Yasmin too, just really, really pretty dolls, and I think that that breaks them out from that Participation Award sector. And I also like the colour choices on each one. I think they really picked good colours to suit each character. Spring Break is going high in the like category. I think we'll put them here. Again, this isn't like a top line for me, but I think it's a really cute line. I love the tans on Chloe and especially on Yasmin. This is such a stunning Yasmin, especially with the eyes. The colour really stands out. Leia's also really cute. I think this might be my favourite Leia. Overall, this is a solid line. I like the outfits. I like the faces on them. They're great. They just, I don't think about them that much. Actually, wait, I'm gonna put them in front of Dynamite. Also, the Jade and Sasha not getting released was a little bit sad, but like, it's fine. We still got 3 really good dolls, so it's not like we got a shit one that could have been avoided by having another one in there instead. They're all good. They're all consistent dolls. Sweetheart, Participation Award. These are saved by their screenings and their skirts. The Yasmin in this line is carrying this line on its shoulders. Don't get me wrong, Phoebe's really nice in this line, Sasha's really nice in this line, the Lily is decent, but Yasmin in this line is it. Yasmin is saving this line from going in crickets. We extend our thanks to Sweetheart Yasmin for being the reason this line succeeds a little bit more than it should, because it is a very cheap looking copy-paste line, but Yasmin really got me. This one might be the biggest shock in the video, but Midnight Dance, Participation Award. I just don't really care for this style of outfit. It doesn't really appeal to me. I get what they were going for. I know there are people who absolutely love this line. It doesn't really resonate with me that much. The style of the outfits, the screenings are nice, but I just don't feel like this line is giving me what it should give. And also the egregious whitewashing is just another point against it. I think maybe the outfits are just a bit cluttered for my liking. I don't really care for them that much. Genie Magic is a low love because these outfits do veer on costume, but I think that they're unique enough in the outfits to at least stand out nicely. They look really nice, the colour schemes are really nice, Sasha especially and Katya, and yeah, we'll give it to Chloe. I think Chloe has a nice colour scheme here. The screenings are decent. I think this is just a really solid line with a great commitment to the aesthetic. How well it's aged, I don't know, but I think it is a very, very solid line, and honestly, I do love Genie Magic. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a classic. Right, Flashback Fever. I feel like I would be committing absolute heresy if I didn't put this in platinum, and that is why I am going to put this line in platinum. Because I agree. I think that this is one of the strongest Bratz lines they've ever made. I love that they went with retro themes, and I think it's just such a cool freaking line. As a collective, it can seem a little odd because they clash a little bit, but I love that each one individually caters to a different style. And all of the pieces just really work. Like, Fiona is exceptional in this line. This is one of the top Fionas. Chloe has such like a Madonna look that I love. Sasha has so many gorgeous pieces, and this hair colour is something that they should do on more Sashas if they ever make any more dolls that aren't collabs or repros. Jade is just giving me such a me against the music vibe that I don't know how you can't love this. And I love the little green mini dress. And Yasmin is just so gloriously like tacky, but in the best way. I love her. She's giving camp. It just works so well. Even if it's a little tacky, I love it. The screenings are pretty much all perfect. Excellent outfit pieces, great hair, the commitment to theme is there. It's flashback fever. Would you like an extra explanation? Because I don't feel like I need to. It's flashback fever. Hollywood style. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna put it in participation award. Hollywood style Dana, platinum. The rest, meh. The screenings are nice on like Phoebe, Megan, Chloe's is pretty decent, but it just feels like such a weird line. Why did they think that they could like take the outfits from New Year Celebration Yasmin, shove them on 2 dolls, and then give the other 4 dolls in the line mini dresses? I don't get it. I really don't get this line. They aren't ugly, they aren't bad. It feels like a little bit of a lazy line. If these screenings came in like any other outfits, I'd probably love them. I'd probably love them as much as the Dana in this line, because the Dana in this line is so strong. But she stole Yasmin's outfit. So like, what credit can we give her other than being really good at stealing someone else's outfit? If this was on individual dolls alone, Dana would be in platinum. But unfortunately, 5 versus 1. It's not a great ratio. So participation award. Okay, Sunkissed Summer. Love it. I don't have that much attachment to Sunkissed Summer, but just by looking at this line, there's never a doubt that this is a really well put together line. Great mix and match pieces, great swimsuits. I like that they're a little bit more toned down compared to the beach party line. I love the tans. This is an excellent Dana. This Chloe makes me doubt my atheism. I think it's just an absolute solid line. Even if I don't think of it as like one of my favorites, I feel like I'd be letting the world down if I didn't give it the credit it deserves. Strut It, love this line, but I will put it a little further to the back, like here, I think. Megan isn't my favorite in this line. I don't love her screening. The other dolls, they absolutely grew on me. I think they are really beautiful. Really cool Jade. I love the colours on Jade. I love the hat and like the different pieces. Worked really well. This colour scheme on Sasha, exceptional. Love Chloe's screening. I love her eye colour. I love that they gave a lot of these characters different eye colours to how they usually would. And this Yasmin is just, it's a quintessential Yasmin. She is excellent, and I really love the Strut It line. I think it's very, very cute. Style, it's an interesting one because I do love it, but it's also not as good as Strut It. This line does go heavy on the jeans. This line does feel like a very neutral kind of line, and also Jade carries this line. One of the best Jades of all time. Tell me I'm wrong. I love this screening so much. I love the plaid touches, the yellow, the denim. I just think it's so grungy and hip and just so perfect. The other dolls are pretty nice too. Chloe's screening is really cute. This Dana has grown on me. I really like a lot of Sasha's pieces. I really like this line a lot, but there are things that could be a little bit better. But I do have such a love for this line, and part of it is because of Jade, so that's why Style It is going as high as it's going. I think we're going on to the last of like the signature lines. Let's look at Express It. I think Express It is better than Style It, but I don't think it's as good as Strut It. Jade is exceptional. Megan is very strong. Chloe is really cute. Sasha's gorgeous. Yasmin's fine. Yasmin's cute, but it's just a very regular Yasmin, but I think it's a more consistent line. And this was the first Megan as well, and she made an excellent introduction, even though I wish she did have the checkerboard pants instead of just more plain jeans. Right, I think it's time we tackle the sleepover party ones. No, it's slumber party, not sleepover party. party. That's the 2015 one. So the difference between the first wave and the second wave of sleepover party is very marginal. It's the screenings. Megan has the same screening. Chloe looks like she has the same screening, but the makeup is slightly different. Also, the eyebrows are different. Sasha's eye colour and makeup are different. Yasmin's eye colour and makeup are different. Jade's eye colour is different, as well as the makeup. Overall, I think the outfits are very, very great. This is an excellent sleepover line. I think it's one of the best sleepover lines they've done. But which of the ones do I prefer? Megan's the same, so I don't need to compare her. Out of the Chloes, I think I prefer second. Sasha, I prefer second. Yasmin, I prefer first. Jade, I prefer first. They're basically tied. That's kind of frustrating. If I had to give it, both of the Chloes have a really nice face, so I think if I had to give one the upper hand, it would be wave one. There we go. The two sleepover party lines go in there because they are both nearly identical other than some screening differences. And also the packaging, but I can't even remember the packaging half the time of the sleepover dolls. Forever Diamonds is going the top of like. These are formulaic outfits, but I really like them a lot. I love the prints on the jeans with the bedazzling and how they did it in the film. I have a lot of nostalgia about that. I think the screenings are really strong. I really love the hair. Sheridan is excellent. We have the tanned Chloe, which is beautiful. I have Yasmin in box. I would like to get her out of box though because she's gorgeous. Sasha is gorgeous. Jade is gorgeous. Even the Katia and the Vanessa, they're really nice dolls too. Do you know what? I'm gonna put her in love. Why am I saying her? It's a line. I'm gonna put Forever Diamonds at the bottom of love. And then I'm gonna put Pampered Pups at the top of like. I don't love these, but I really, really like them. The screenings are very consistent. I love the hair. I love the addition of Charlie. I love Sasha's hair and the gorgeous cami top. Yasmin's screening, gorgeous. Chloe looks great. I just think that these do rely too heavily on the same kind of jeans. It takes away a lot of the fun out of it if they're just all wearing very similar jeans. That's why they're not going in love. Hot Summer Days is also going to go in like. I don't have as much of a passion for them. I think that they're just behind like Dynamite, but I also really like that these are reused outfits, but they don't feel like reused outfits. Kind of a lesser example of what happened with Girls' Night Out and Secret Date. These feel like unique dolls. They aren't as good as Secret Date. Like, Secret Date is walking all over these. But, you know, Hot Summer Days is still an excellent line, and I like the artwork style for them a lot. Adventure Girls. I feel like Adventure Girls is gonna be at the top of Participation Award. Actually, do I want to put them in Participation Award? That's a bit harsh. I feel like I'm going to put them at the end of like. Yeah, end of like is good for Adventure Girls. The screenings are a bit hit or miss on these, but I like the idea of the outfits. I like that it's like a safari, but each one kind of represents a different colour. It's cute. I don't really feel like I have as much of a passion for this line as I do for Wildlife Safari, which I think has this very singular vision that really works. This one just feels a little bit more watered down. I feel like all four of these lines are going in love, so I'll just spoil that for you. But where exactly are we gonna put them in love? Formal Funk. Everybody wants to be at Bratz Prom 2003. Where are they going? I think here. I think there's a good place for Formal Funk. These aren't my favorite dolls, but they are gorgeous. I love the gowns. I love the shawls. The hair is all really good on these. I like that it just has such a specific feeling to it. I love Yasmin's dress. Jade in this colour. Chloe in black. Very underrated. Chloe in black does not get the credit that she deserves. It Never also looks really great too. A really awesome formal wear line that you don't get to see much of, and I like that they did so much with it and made it feel like a spectacle. So I really appreciate that about Formal Funk. Nighty Night. This one's also going to go a little further at the back. I'm going to put them next to Feeling Pretty. The Nighty Night screenings are a little hit or miss for me. Some of them I love in this screening. Like, Chloe looks great in this screening, and I really love Jade. The others, it doesn't really work for that much, but I love Fiona's outfit. I love Chloe's outfit. I love how it has such a different vibe to the other sleepover lines. It's not like, oh, we're going in a sleepover, oh, pillow fight. It feels like more of a real like campaign rather than just like fun with your buddies. There's like a maturity to it. There's an elevation, there's a prestige to it. So I've got to put it where it is because I think it does what it does very well. Treasures I love, but I feel like not all of the outfit pieces work that well. We'll put treasures here. Love the colour schemes. Chloe in blue, Jade in turquoise, Sasha in purple. Great. Not all of these screenings are my favourite. Yasmin's growing on me. Roxy's is fine. Jade and Sasha look pretty nice, and Chloe looks nice too. I feel like the first outfits are very strong on these, but some of the pieces on the second outfits are a little bit underwhelming. I do love the knee-high boots though, at the headscarves. I think those are really cool. And I also love the treasure chests they come with. One of my favourite pieces. And last but not least, Wild Wild West. And this picture is kind of confusing because it has Fiona, Yasmin, Chloe, Kiana, and Dana all from Wild Wild West. And then it has Soraya from Rodeo on. Yeah, those were released in different years. Let's be real, I'm gonna put them in love because I love this line so much. Yeah, Wild Wild West is a very strong line. It just has one little flaw in that some of the screenings are really bad. Chloe looks scared. Dana looks god-awful. Kiana's is decent. Yasmin, I think, mostly gets away with it. Fiona is the one that comes out the best. But I really love these dolls in terms of like the colour schemes and the outfit pieces. I think they're very strong. I love Fiona's tan look. I love Kiana's pops of turquoise. Dana in pink is great. Chloe with the red. Even the more neutral look that Yasmin has, I think it really works for her. The hats are really nice too. It's such a strong line. I can look past some of the screenings because of the quality of the outfits. So that is all of these lines that we put in, and that is the tier list done. Or is it? I do want to try and include some other lines that weren't included in this tier list. Let's start with Rock Angels. I would put Rock Angels around here, so in the love tier, in between these two. It's more of a repetitive line, but I think that even then, they have enough details to distinguish them, and I love what they did with the hair colours, the different streaks, and making them feel like really unique dolls. And it was just a phenomenon. It has such a singular image that just works incredibly well. Girls Really Rock, I would probably put after Sweet Dreams. I love that each one has an individual flair, and I think they have some really nice pieces. I don't think it has the fun factor of Rock Angels, but I think it's a really cool and detailed line. Holiday 2007 is going in black peep-toe ankle boot, whatever the hell it's called, because it's terrible and it sucks. The 2008 one can go in Participation Award though. I think it's a little cheesy, but it's cute. Sabina and Dresden can go in the same category. I think they're a similar consistency level. Magic Makeup, I'll put next to Growing Cut. I think that the Magic Makeup dolls are nice enough. Fashion Designer goes in Cricket. Magic Fashion Nails can go maybe in the back of Participation Award. Hairstyle can go in Cricket. Shrek and Spider-Man can go in Love. I think I would put them maybe ahead of Express It? Yeah, I think that's enough lines to add to the list because I don't want to get it too confusing. But here is my list. Let me know what you think of it. I might have made some changes to it in post, but if so, they will be on the screen now. So let me know what you think of my choices. Please be nice. I don't like confrontation very much. But if you like this video, why not give it a like and give it a comment? I would like to talk to people. And if you want to see more occasional doll content, feel free to subscribe to the channel where I hopefully will be doing some more tier lists. I have a couple of like scripted videos, but they're all half scripted at the moment, so I'm kind of working to see which one gets finished first so I can focus on that. Follow me on my Instagram at OliverseDolls. Follow me on Twitter at Arila Network. Check out my Redbubble store. I have a coffee page now as well. Oh my gosh, I'm really stretching myself out thin. And also check out Bratz Project Closet, which is my Bratz dress-up game, available for free download in the description. I promise it's fun. Thank you so much for watching. For some reason I don't feel like this video is going to be as good as the Monster High tier list was. But whatever, I had fun making it. From me and the Pog, who cannot afford contact lenses, have a